Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Seattle Sports Podcast. My name is Robbie Griffin, and here sitting with me is the one, the only, Gavin Ream.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Gee, it's a good day because we're
It
going to
is.
talk some Seahawks. We're going to talk Mariners baseball. Life feels full, man. It's good.
March Madness is back. This time last year, we had no sports. And me and you were like, yeah, let's do this podcast. Yeah, let's do a sports podcast when there's no sports. Thinking because it was only temporary.
I think
Wow.
we did 5 podcasts ranting about how the MLB should come back, but they're too stubborn. So
Yes.
I'm glad that we're not doing that anymore.
I agree.
And that baseball is back. And March Madness is back. It's a great week.
Shout out to
Gav,
Oral Roberts.
let's start off with some Seahawks action here. Here's what we got. The Seahawks free agency has begun, as of course the NFL free agency has. We've got a few pickups here. We picked up cornerback Akello Witherspoon, who was on the 49ers before. We picked up tight end Gerald Everett from the Rams. We got Gabe Jackson in a trade for a 5th rounder with the Raiders. And then we also brought back a few guys of our own. We brought back Poona Ford, Nick Belair, Chris Carson. We brought back Ethan Pochik. Anyone I'm missing here, Gav? The guys we brought back?
Yeah, those seem to be the major ones that I can think of.
Absolutely. Gavin, first question here. What are your overall feelings at first of the Seahawks free agency? Do they make moves that you're excited about? Are they still short? Are you frustrated with the moves? What are you thinking?
I overall excited. The Chris Carson thing, I was very shook. So you texted me it, and I thought maybe you got played. So like, what was it? Like you know how it is where there's a million Bob Cordatas or just abshefters and all that, but they don't have the certified check, and they just have like something off about it. But it looks like it. That's what I thought I was getting pulled for. And I went back onto Twitter and saw multiple sources confirming that we got him for dirt cheap. I mean, it's like pretty much like a guaranteed 14 million. But it's 3 years, 24 million is from what I've gathered.
Yeah, so I've got the full contract up here. First off, he's the 15th highest paid running back in the league. 15th. Just by saying that, I'm happy. So it's a 2-year deal, but the 3rd year is an option. So there is a 3rd year option if they like it. It's only 5.5. Let me look this. I scrolled. 5.212. So $5,212,000 against the Seahawks this year is a $5,500,000 signing bonus. It's a great deal for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Gav, here's the players that are getting paid above Chris Carson at the running back position. I'm going to name them. You just tell me who you'd rather have. Just Chris or the other guy. Todd Gurley.
Chris.
That one's not even close. Kenyon Drake, who's getting paid $5.5 million.
I'll take Chris.
Yeah, me too. They don't need. That was with the Raiders. They don't even need a running back. Tariq Cohen.
Chris.
Yep, still feeling good. Kareem Hunt.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Chris because Chris hasn't kicked his girlfriend. So I'm going with that.
You know what? I will back you up on that. Go Chris, but I will say that's a close one.
Yeah, I think skill-wise it's a lot closer. Austin Eckler. I think they're in the same range of player.
Chris.
This is where it starts to go down for me. Saquon Barkley.
Give me Chris.
Wow, just worried about the injuries?
You can't say though that Chris Carson has not been injured, but
not as big of injuries.
But Saquon Barkley is good, but he's very injury prone. He's coming back off of Achilles.
Yeah,
gotta give me Chris there, but it's a toss up. It's a toss up.
Okay, Melvin Gordon for $8 million.
Chris.
Yep. Joe Mixon. This is where it jumps up. 12 million for Joe Mixon.
Chris. Joe Mixon screws me every year in fantasy football.
12 million for Aaron Jones.
I'll take Aaron.
I'll take Aaron Jones as well. I
We're
think
not talking.
this is where it separates, because Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, and Christian McCaffrey. I'll actually take Chris over Zeke, though. I think Zeke's washed.
That's a solid. That is a pretty spicy take. I mean, Zeke did not have a great year last year, but was part of that because Dak and just motivation.
Or is it because he was overweight? He likes to wear his belly shirts. Let me tell you, it was actually a belly this year.
Fair. I don't know. I think I'd still take Zeke, but to your point, we're gonna call Chris Carson a 7-8 top running back in the league.
Yeah. And he's getting paid as the 15th highest. Not only that, though, the rate that he's just the difference in pay between those top 8 guys that we said and him, they're getting paid 2 to 3 times more than him. Some of them 4 times as much as he is. And so right. I remember in the off season last year, as we were preparing for the football season, we started to talk about how much money would you pay Chris Carson to come back. And the contract that we were looking at was the Joe Mixon 4 years, 48. And I think we said, if you could do a little bit less than that, if you could do 4 years, 40 is the conversation I think we had. If you could pay him $10 million a year and keep him, I got to say, great deal by the Seahawks here. It's just fantastic. You have an elite level running back on your team for under $6 million. It's great.
And this might be, so the NFL is breaking how MLB free agency broke, is that the free agency market is not as hot as I think some of the players want. I think a lot of it is due to maybe lost revenue. Some of these places did not make as much. They don't know what these next years are going to hold. And they weren't willing to pay these big bucks for some of these players, because it's rumored that, I mean, I think Bobby Wagner's contract supposedly is going to get restructured. Russell Wilson's is supposedly going to get restructured. And Carlos Dunlap, there is rumors that he could rejoin the Hawks. And they're saying that free agency is breaking that way, that Carlos Dunlap could, and we had him before, and it was like $14 million a year, something right up in that ballpark. I don't know what they're going to bring him back with to make it seem like we're going to get him, because I don't think he's less than 10, probably, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But who knows? Things are breaking well for the Hawks. It could be the silver lining to the COVID season.
Yeah, it's the cap didn't go up. But because the cap didn't go up very much, I mean, it went up a tiny bit. But because there's not this huge gap, everyone else is in trouble too. Because we knew the Seahawks were going to have problems with cap space and with a lack of draft picks, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. And so we were just worried. And at the end of the day, though, players don't want to sign long contracts because they don't want to sign a lower amount of money this year when the cap's going to go up probably drastically next season. When you could, okay, if I bet on myself this season, then I can sign a huge extension next year. That's what guys are betting on. And it goes in the favor for the Seahawks because, one, you're a team that's good. So if I want to show that I am capable of playing for a huge contract, I want to go to a good team. I'm not trying to go to the Jets and get beat up. And yeah, hey, I had a great season, we got torched every game, but look at my stats. It doesn't look great.
No. Well put.
Gav, this was really interesting to me. Chris Carson's career so far. Guess how much money that he has made?
So far, can you give me how many years he's been in the league?
He's been in the league for 4 years.
4 years. I bet he's made $5 million.
Yeah, just a little bit above that. So he has made career earnings. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Did I say above that?
Yeah.
Incorrect from me. So far, he's made $3,708,000.
Chris Carson?
Yep, because he was a 7th round pick. Now, do you want me to really break your mind, Gavin?
Yeah, I like that.
This is gonna hurt you. You're not gonna believe this. 3 seasons. How much money has Rashad Penny made?
What round was he drafted in?
First round.
Oh, he was a first rounder, huh?
Yeah.
He's probably made similar to the no 2.5 million.
$8,817,000.
Rashad Penny, like we're talking. There is only one Rashad Penny in the NFL, and it's the one on the
Absolutely.
Hawks.
I mean, for that first round, you get a signing bonus of $5,909,000 versus Carson's was 65,000. So
Wow.
all I'm saying here is I am happy for Chris that he's getting paid a little bit here. It's still a good deal for the Seahawks. Chris Carson and Rashad Penny are like best friends. Like I saw Penny tweeted like so happy Carson's coming back. These guys, the rumors are they're always together in the locker room. They're literally best friends. So this is great. But man, I don't know. You think there's a little beef there of like, bro, you're getting paid this much. I'm literally the star running back of our team. I doubt it because they're such close friends. You don't think like that, but man, that's a huge difference there.
That is crazy. And I think wow. Do you think Rashad Penny, like it's going to go Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, Alex? Oh, do you like what's even going to happen this year, right? Like this is currently with Chris Carson coming back, and people thought maybe Alex Collins and Rashad Penny was just going to be our go-to. But now we got Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, DJ Dallas, and Alex Collins. I'm not going to call DJ Dallas a decent running back yet because we just haven't seen enough. But I really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, obviously we know Chris Carson's going to be the number one running back, but then after that,
I think you had it right. I do think that Alex Collins will be our third string, but that he will play less than DJ Dallas. And what I mean by that is if one of those first two guys got hurt, I think Alex Collins would take their spot. So let's say Chris Carson got hurt, Penny moves up to your number one running back, and Collins is playing as the backup. But DJ Dallas, I think, has a consistent role next season and being that third down pass catching back. And I think that role sticks with him no matter who's playing. He showed that versatility. He did not show he's capable of being that star number one workhorse that you need in the couple games when he had the chance. Now, you know, that's a tough go when our line was kind of beat up and our running backs were beat up and he was expected to run the ball 20 times. That's rough for a guy that's pretty small. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I think DJ Dallas will get a lot of play time, but he'll probably be our fourth string running back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a solid lineup. At the end of the day, I am A-okay with that lineup. The Seahawks never seem to be able to make it through a season without injuring one of the running backs. So this depth is necessary.
Yeah. Okay, so the trade with Gabe Jackson for the 5th rounder, Gav. You want to walk us through a little bit about Gabe Jackson?
Yeah. So we traded with the Raiders, like Rob said, 5th round pick. And before we go any deeper, what does this leave the Seahawks with? We already knew we gave up first rounders for Jamal. We now have, so no first round pick. We have the 56th overall pick then. So that's our first pick. That's the 2nd round. We have no 3rd round pick. We have a 4th round pick. Now we no longer have a 5th round pick. We have a 6th round pick and a 7th round pick. So in total, we have 4 picks in the NFL draft. Slim pickings, and they're late. We all know that, you know, Schneider's good at picking late and finding those diamonds in the rough, like Chris Carson, who came in the 7th round.
Yeah.
But what does Gabe Jackson bring? Was he worth that 5th round pick? And giving that up, given that we have limited picks already. I think he was. I think he was. He's 29 years old. He has 8 years of experience. He started 99 of 100 games played. Healthy dude. We like that. Last year gave up 0 sacks. 0 sacks. I mean, that is music to our ears. The one thing, and he'll likely play left guard. He's been playing right guard, but Mike Iupati, who was just retired, who was an offensive lineman for the Seahawks, He just retired after 11 seasons in the NFL. He is filling that void. What the hard thing is about this is Mike Iupati was actually pretty, I'll say decent to pretty good offensive lineman. And Gabe is just exactly kind of like Mike Iupati as far as ratings go. They're when you look at PFF, they're right in the 60 to 62 range as a rating. They're similar. This does not, I don't think Seahawks fans should be like, this is going to solve our offensive line. No, we just literally fill the gap. We need to fill at least one more, at least. This is a great signing, but this does not complete what needs to be done.
I agree with you. And it's going to be tough. There's not a lot of cap space left. Some guys are going to have to get cut or restructured. And at the same time, maybe you even trade some guys for a few picks and try to see what's out there. And John Snyder's looking at everything, every opportunity. But we're going to have to draft some defensive linemen and some offensive linemen. And honestly, we need another wide receiver. So I don't know what's left in the cards. I do know that John Schneider is very creative with getting more picks, turning nothing to something. He has done that year after year, whether that's trading down, getting multiple picks. My guess is that second rounder turns into a third and a fourth or a third and a fifth.
Yeah.
And so it'll be exciting to see it. I will say in the first 24 hours of free agency, I was frustrated. You're watching a lot of the elite level offensive linemen go. And then there's this trade where I think we got a top level offensive lineman.
Agreed.
For a 5th round price. And we have for this season and next season. And so you got to trust John Schneider a little bit. Him and Pete, they are pretty good at free agency. I will give them that. In that they are able to create more picks out of nothing. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm really excited for the NFL draft, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I think what's still left on the wish list is, for me, it's another offensive lineman. It's like you said, a wide receiver, and then some sort of pass rush.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things that are left, and hopefully, and I think John and Pete and all Seahawks Nation know that.
Yeah.
But lowest on that priority list, I think would be wide receiver.
You want to bring KJ back?
Oh, dang it. You threw that. Yes. KJ's a must.
2-year deal like he signed last time? Here's the thing. KJ's going to be more expensive. Even though he's older than his last 2-year contract, he had just had his best season.
He did. I think so. I think him and Bobby are crucial parts of the defense, and KJ's role is not fillable with anyone else. Jordan Brooks played well this last year, our pickup last year, our first round pick. He played well, and he progressively played well, which you want to see.
He got better throughout the season for sure.
He got better throughout the season. He is nowhere near KJ Wright. We can't say we're confident in our defense. We just lost Shaquille Griffin to Jacksonville. I mean, we're going to have Blair back. And we don't have Carlos Dunlap. I think you do have to. Yeah, you're right. So if I had to bump my priorities, actually, KJ Wright's probably at the top.
Yeah, so he got 2 years, $14 million total in his last contract. If you could sign that again, that's a slam dunk of a deal right there.
Agreed.
Even though KJ's 31, he'll be 32 at the start of this season. I still think you got to make it happen. Even if it's a 1-year deal in this kind of funky year. Hey, KJ, sign this 1-year deal. We'll take care of you next year. That's what you say. Does he sign it? I don't know.
Right. You trust that.
Yeah. Okay, Gav. While we did have some signings, we also lost some players. Cornerback Shaquille Griffin, gone to Jacksonville. Running back Carlos Hyde, gone to Jacksonville. Wide receiver Philip Dorsett, gone to Jacksonville. Wide receiver David Moore, he's gone Carolina. And tight end Jacob Hollister, gone to Buffalo. That player that hurts the most is Shaquille Griffin, who is a solid player. A lot of Seahawks fans wanted to sign him into an extension last offseason. But the amount of money that he signed for, it just did not seem like it was worth it to bring him back. In my opinion, he's a starting cornerback, but I don't think he's a star cornerback.
He's replaceable.
100%.
So, and I don't know if we want to chat about this, but there's all this bring Richard Sherman back, bring him back. To be honest, I don't want him back.
1-year deal for Sherman. I'm in.
Why?
Why do I want
Richard Sherman good anymore?
Yes, when he's healthy, he's good.
When he's healthy, he's old and brittle. I'm not banking on him the way the Seahawks play. I'm not banking on him coming back and staying healthy. Is he probably a good mentor to have in the locker room or maybe for those cornerbacks? Probably. It's that you might be able to convince me on.
Not only that, Gav, but you're saying he's brittle. He played the whole season the year before last year and was great. Not even like people are saying like, wow, this contract that he signed is amazing now that he's playing well. He got paid and he was great. So I think he still has another year or two left.
I just don't trust it. That's a valid point. I still just don't trust it. And I actually like the young guys that we have, out there in the backfield. They filled some pretty big voids when Jamal Adams was hurt and whatnot. So
yeah, I agree with that. Here's Griffin's contract. 3 years, $40 million. I mean, no. I like Griffin. I wouldn't have paid him that much. So it's a player that you go, hey, I really enjoyed while you played here. Good luck to you in Jacksonville. I'm rooting for you, Shaquille Griffin, but I'm also really glad the Seahawks didn't pay you $40 million.
Not worth it. I 100% agree. He could be the next, Byron Maxwell. You remember that? Where Byron Maxwell got paid. He was on the Legion of Boom and everyone thought he was just a big contributor, but he just kind of rode the coattails and then just went to the Eagles and absolutely was horrific. And I'm not saying Griffin's the exact same way, but it kind of is a similar situation in my mind.
Yeah, the Eagles, a 6-year, $63 million contract.
That's what Byron Maxwell's was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't turn out to be well. Woo. Him and his long sleeves, his jangly long sleeves. Remember those?
Yeah, and he actually got cut after 2 years. We picked him up for a 1-year, $900,000 contract, and we signed him again the next year to a 1-year, $2 million contract. His best years were with us. He got torched with the Eagles.
Right. Yeah. Eagles, questionable team. Questionable management.
Anything else you want to talk about Seahawks related before we move on to the M's?
I mean, I think the one other thing, I know we briefly mentioned it, but we did pick up Gerald Everett as the tight end. We lost Jacob Hollister to the Buffalo. Gerald Everett, I mean, I have some brief stats. He was a good tight end. It will be interesting because we had Shane Waldron. I always forget. Yes, Shane Waldron and Andy Dickerson, but he's a run game coordinator. Shane Waldron, who's the new offensive coordinator, came from the Rams. And you wonder how much of influence this had on it. Gerald, I mean, last year he had 41 receptions, 417 yards. He's not your all-star tight end, but he's going to get your job done.
Yeah.
I'm not overly excited about this. I love Disley a little bit better, but I think it was a necessary pickup, and I think they spent the right amount of money for it. I mean, he only had 7 game starts last year. He's 6'3". He's a big guy. He's got a long reach too. So I think that's the only thing I'd like to, we can cap off on that.
Yeah, I mean, so last year, your favorite signing of the year was Greg Olsen, a 1-year, $7 million contract.
Oh, yeah,
if you're listening to this, you just saw Gavin roll his eyes big time. His least favorite signing of all time.
All time.
This year, you get a better player for $1 million cheaper.
Right.
Now, I do think Greg, even though you're not a fan, he did bring a lot of maturity. And I think he really did help that tight end room. I just heard he was a great guy for the locker room too. Now, I'm not
I
saying it's worth the $7 million. I'm just
okay.
saying that was one of the good things about it. This Gerald Everett signing for $6 million is pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, I would I have liked cheaper? Sure. But yeah. And I'm not trying to
Only
bag on your
26.
whole, huh?
He's only 26.
He could be good, and he has had great potential at the Rams. He's had some just ball out games where he's running in the slot. Like he's good and has potential, no doubt. I do want to, just because I hate Greg Olson. I don't hate Greg Olson. I just hated the Greg Olson signing. I wanna trash your whole he's good for the locker room thing. I mean, how many people do you need in the locker room that's good? You got Russell Wilson, you got Bobby Wagner, you got KJ Wright, you got Pete Carroll. Like, I'm tired of this. Oh, he's good for the locker room. I'm like, well, welcome.
I mean, you could argue that
To,
Russell Wilson is creating a lot of problems in the locker room right now.
yeah,
So
but not last year. Yeah, true. I mean, is this last question? Let's leave on this. But last question. I was thinking about this earlier. The Seahawks team last year was the team that everyone's like, I would love to go to Seattle. They are always just a brotherhood and they're so fun to play for. But I think that totally flipped this last year. Who in free agency is like, get me to Seattle because of all this drama? Do you know what I mean?
I think a couple people were like that. I think Gerald Everett and Akella Witherspoon were like, yeah, get me to Seattle.
I don't know if they were like, get me to Seattle. It might have been just the best deal they got.
I will say this. It sounded like Chris Carson wanted out, and Russell Wilson apparently called him multiple times telling him to come back. The Russell Wilson trade rumors are dead, in my opinion. They're 100% dead.
Agreed.
He had a flag football video that he ended in the same way he always does, with a Go Hawks. I think that they made a couple moves that he really wanted. He wanted Chris Carson back. And my guess is that Gabe Jackson was the type of player that he said that he wanted as an offensive lineman. I don't think that his requests have been totally fulfilled, but it's hard to argue that the Seahawks did not do a few of the things that Russell Wilson asked him to do. Maybe even Gerald Everett was a part of that, as a guy who's a pretty good blocking tight end. So anyway, I think the Russ drama dies down here. The stuff that really makes me mad is when there's reports that's like, Russell Wilson, John Schneider is listening to trade requests. It's like, of course you listen. That's a part of your job to listen.
I agree.
What are you going to do? Oh, no, I don't want to hear how many first round picks. What if someone offers you 10 first rounders? You got to take that.
Right. I am not disagreeing with that at all. I agree. People, it's just the media trying to stir the pot. It happens. And I think it happens when there's no news. The media looks back and says, where can we create some sort of traffic? And they just chose to pick on the Seahawks this year.
Absolutely. All right, Gab, you ready to transition to some Mariners here?
Yeah, of course.
Gab, today, James Paxton finally pitched in the spring training game, not a simulated game. He got his work visa in line. There were some issues and complications with COVID and him coming from Canada where he could not pitch in an actual game, which is one of the weirder stories you'll hear about in spring training.
Aren't you already working? Like, what's the difference?
So he's still getting paid. So I don't know how that works. Like, oh no, he's only simulating. I don't know what that means, but
right.
Anyway, he pitched great. He gave up 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk over 4 innings and 1/3, 4 1/3. He had 8 strikeouts. He pumped heat up to 96 miles an hour. James Paxton looks like he's back. I should say sounds like he's back, since this game is not available to be watched, which has really been one of the more frustrating things during COVID, that there are spring training baseball games that we can't watch. And the argument is that not enough people watch these games, that it's not worth getting the TV crews out there because not enough people watch root sports at those times. But let me tell you this, Gav. I would watch pretty much every single game this year because I am stuck in my house. So I don't know if they forgot we're in a pandemic or what, but let me tell you this. They would have got a lot of views and it would have been worth it.
Well, and I mean, I get this is easier to be done, but like they just play replays en route. Like instead of playing the Mariners, they're playing. No offense to anyone, they're like fly fishing in Spokane, and it's just like okay, I'm not really getting your reason. This is why people don't watch root sports because they never know what they're gonna get. Am I gonna get Mariners or am I gonna get fly fishing? Up to you to choose. Yeah, I agree. I think it's frustrating. Hopefully things will change now that they've signed the Portland Trailblazers to a contract.
I know you got the Mariners, you have the Sounders, or do you have the?
No, it's not.
Sounders. They have the Timbers. Is that right?
They might have the Timbers. Not that that's going to bring in a ton of money.
Oh, you know what? They have I believe the hockey team signed to them.
The Kraken signed to them?
I think so. I could be wrong though.
I would be shocked if the Kraken signed a Root.
But the Trailblazers is huge.
Trailblazers is huge. Agreed.
I'm gonna look this up as we're talking.
But I mean, I've watched probably been able to watch 3 games on, or not Root, just on TV.
I was right, bro. Kraken.
The Kraken signed to the Root.
Yeah, so they're about to be rolling in the dough next year. There's no reason for the Mariners to not have a $200 million payroll next season because they own Root Sports.
Yeah, they'll be. I mean, yeah. And thank you to Mather for letting us know that they make a lot of money off that TV.
Yeah, especially signing the Kraken and the Trailblazers.
That's huge.
What a year for them.
Yeah, what a year. That's fine. That's fine by me. I guess I'm actually more bitter about MLB blackouts more than anything else. So.
Yeah, I agree. And the Timbers are there as well, G. So they got 4 professional sports teams. That's impressive.
The Mariners will be looking good. That's for sure.
All right, G. Let's talk about some specific players here. Jarred Kelenic came back from his injury. He looks absolutely fantastic. Here's his line over only 7 games in spring training, but here's his line. He's hitting a .333 average with a .412 on base, 800 slugging for a 1.212 OPS, which is just disgusting. Not only that, but he's legging out doubles. He's running out to get RBI fielders' choices on what should be double plays, which he did the other night for the Mariners to come back and win. Jarred Kelenic looks like the real deal, and it's a huge bummer that this injury is going to be one of the key reasons that he's not going to play for the Seattle Mariners on opening day.
Why? I'm going to advocate for him, and I know you won't. Yeah. So, but like, why? He's doing well.
It's the same issue as before. Jarred Kelenic played 21 games in Double-A. He's not played enough games, in my opinion. It feels irresponsible unless he hit 500 or something during spring training. And I will say this, he has not played enough games during spring training. That's the other issue.
No, but this is
7 games. You're saying if he plays the remainder of the 7 games at this level, he should make the team?
Yeah, I'm saying that. And you know why I'm saying that is because we do not know anything about minor league baseball right now. They're saying it's at least a month delay. And if there was minor league baseball immediately, sure, give him there. But I'm not if he is hitting well, give him the spot he deserves on the team. And if he sucks, then go put him down in the minor leagues. But to do this he has hardly played baseball this last year. To do this, you're going to play baseball, then you're going to get hurt, then you're going to go out and play, then we're going to not let you play for pretty much another month. You're just going to do sim games. And then we're going to bring you back to possibly up to the MLB. Stop toying around with his heart and my heart and just freaking put him in the lineup. And if he does well, keep him. And if he doesn't, bump him down. I get they're gun shy because Mike Zunino was brought up too early, and so many other players are brought up too early, like Dustin Ackley. But like his guy's a different case. And we are built in a different scenario where, like last year, the pandemic really hurt us. He would have had his 100+ at bats in the minors, and it would have made more sense. But we don't have that. Gotta just make what you got. What?
So You think he should be the opening day left fielder over
Yes.
Taylor Trammell? Over Taylor Trammell.
No, over Jose Marmoleos.
You're trying to make me angry today. I respect that.
Jesus. We have
Here's
got
my
a
thing.
real
They've pretty
tough-
much already said that he's not going to play. They've pretty much already said.
I know that.
So let's just pretend he's not, because I got another thing for you now.
Okay.
Which line do you prefer? Here's one player. Player A, hitting 250 with a 323 on base, 286 slugging with a 608 OPS.
I know who that is, but
Player B, 212 average with a 381
Yep.
on base percentage, 364 slugging,
You just
and a 745 OPS. Who do you prefer just on those lines?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth because Jake Fraley has taken over for Jose Marmoleos for that fourth outfield spot. And I'll tell you this.
I mean my words.
They are still going to have Jose Marmoleos get the spot, and it's going to make me so mad because he can play first base to back up Evan White, and he's out of options. So last year I was going Fraley all the way. I still am. I think Fraley deserves it. He has shown an eye. He's walking and having the best plate appearances I've seen him have, man. He looks great out there.
Agreed.
But he's got options. I don't think they want to let Jose Marmoleos go. There's a big Jose Marmoleos in the Mariners' hearts, and they're struggling right now. Mariners, it's okay. You can let Jose Marmoleos go.
Yeah.
I don't think the line's that big. He might even clear waivers.
Because he would. You think he'd clear waivers?
No, I think
no team would pick him up. Oh, okay.
Brewers pick up everyone. The Brewers would pick him up.
Yeah, the Brewers. I can see Tampa Bay giving him a try. I don't know. Honestly, I am polar opposite view of where I was last week. Last week, I was Jose Marmoleos is going to be the starting left fielder. Now I'm Jared. Give it to Jared. But now I'm actually really confused because Taylor Trammell is obviously hitting well. I'm just like, how are we going to handle this outfield come next year?
So I think Trammell gets the opening day spot. I don't think they're going to do Jared. They're going to use the injury as an excuse. I do agree with you that he deserves it. Even in the few games he has, he looks like the best player on the Mariners.
Okay.
Maybe that's unfair. Haniger's been amazing. Seager's been amazing. France, we're having a good spring, which is fun. That being said, Trammell's going to get his spot up. Then eventually when Kelenic can come up, they're going to call him up and they're going to rotate those guys around. But if all four of our outfielders are playing great, I think you see a Haniger trade. Because the other player that looks amazing this spring, Gavin, is Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, he looks so good.
He looks so good.
So good.
And he's going to be up next year.
Yeah, there's going to be no room for Mitch.
But what if Mitch is balling? What if he's having like an all-star, arguably MVP year? Like, you can trade him for a lot of value for a position that you need. But we're in a weird spot. We've got 5 potentially really good outfielders.
Gavin
is holding his head. Just his head is broken processing how we have too many good players. The Mariners have not been in this position since 2001.
And I don't want to start jumping to conclusions, right? None of these guys have actually played in an MLB game. So we can't confidently say that they are going to all be the real deal.
Oh, that's true. I'm definitely being ultimate optimistic Robbie right now.
Right. Play it. We just got to play it out. But I think you're right. I don't know. I my mind is spinning right now, trying to think about how you can turn this in. Like, well, can you convert someone like, say, Evan White just ends up not doing well? Can we spin one of these into a first baseman? Like, you know?
I've got a solution for you.
Oh, all
I've been
ears.
thinking about this.
Okay.
You know that I love Kyle Seager. I love him. Probably he's been my favorite Mariner while he's been on the Seattle Mariners.
Right.
That's a long time now. It's time for a Kyle Seager trade.
But how does that solve
Trade him to a winning team. You play Ty France at third.
Oh,
Now
DH.
you carry 4 outfielders and you have that fourth one DH. There's got to be a trade. Or you know what? Dylan Moore doesn't work out. Maybe at second base. I could see that. And now Ty France plays second. You have that DH spot open. Or, I mean, you said it, Evan White. You know, I love Evan White. He hits balls hard. They go right at guys, but he hits balls hard. I do think Evan White's going to work out. But that's another one. What if you have to send him down? I guess my point is, Gav, there's a lot of options here, and there's a lot of guys still in the Mariners that might not work out. And we are probably worrying more about the outfield than we should because
Right.
most our infield is unproven. So
that's totally
on the batter's side of things.
Yeah. No, totally fair. So,
yeah. All right, G. My last little topic I want to throw at you is around the Mariners starting pitching, which we have spent a lot of time talking about Mariners starting pitching. Paxton did well today. Marco had his first bad outing. Not worried. Kikuchi's been throwing better. And I'm missing someone. Who am I missing?
Sheffield
threw his best game last game. Now that leaves Chris Flexen, who has looked terrible. He has looked bad. I've actually gone out of my way to watch his game. He looks pretty bad.
He does. He does, but he does have some moments of okay. I mean, he does have 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's got 10 strikeouts over 8 innings. He has a 10.13 ERA.
That's bad.
He's walked 4 guys in 8 innings. Bad. He also has a hit by pitch. His whip is 2.
That's awful.
I mean, I'm glad the Mariners didn't spend a lot of money on this guy. This was my sleeper pick. This was my guy of if Chris Flexen pitches well, it's a steal of a contract. I still believe that. And this is spring training. This is not Korean baseball, unfortunately, for Chris Flexen, though. He's facing MLB batters. I'm a little worried. Gavin, here is my question for you. Justin Dunn and Nick Margevicius have both been great. And beyond that, LJ Newsome has been really, really good. I think Newsome's out of it for now. He saved tonight's game. I think that he stays in that position.
Okay.
At least in the bullpen is my guess. What do Dunn or Margevicius, whichever one doesn't win that 6th spot, have to do to surpass Chris Flexen for that opening day 5th starter? Or is it a lock for Chris Flexen?
I think it shouldn't be a lock, but it is.
Yeah.
I think they've put they put a lot of stock into Chris Flexen. They think he's decent enough to make those starts. I mean, maybe they're out there trying some new things, and that's why he's just getting slugged. Realistically, I'll just tell you my starting lineup. I mean, obviously it's Marco, it's Paxton, it's Sheffield, it's Dunn, and then you're gonna give me Nick Margevicius.
Okay, wait. Marco, Paxton,
Sheffield,
Kikuchi.
Kikuchi. Sorry, I left him out because
And then you want Dunn, Margevicius.
Right.
I agree with you.
Wow, we have come in some.
Come to an agreement. The world must be ending.
It's today, March 21st.
I will say this, though. If Chris Flexen throws well in one of his next 2 outings, I think he has 2 left.
He's got to throw both. He's got to do both at this point.
If you just show me a glimpse of who he was last year for the KBO, then I'm in. I just need to see. I think he deserves at least a shot. Margevicius is going to get up, and he's going to be a starter at some point this year. Give Chris Flexen that spot. Now, does Flexen deserve it? No. But his contract makes me go, you know what? Give this guy a shot.
That's fair. And I think, look, Chris Flexen's next 2 starts are going to be 4 innings, 5 innings, maybe. And that will be a significant pull of how he's doing. Right now, they're pitching 1-2 innings, quick in and out almost. I mean, I think they let him go 3 last time, but a true 4 inning at least outing will really tell us a lot. So
I agree, Gav. All right, G. Anything else you want to talk M's before we close up here?
Not. I'm excited. I mean, it's today. It's March 21st. We are about 10 days away from the start of the MLB season.
Yes, Lord.
So it's gonna get exciting.
Absolutely. Hope they said by the last day of spring training. So when they have that break game where they don't have a game, they want to have the M's 40-man and 26-man this year figured out. And so they'll go down to that on I believe that's a Sunday before opening day. I could be wrong. The 30th or 31st. I'm mixing my days up. Anyway, their next off day, that service said that they want to have everything figured out. So with that being said, once we have all that information, Gav and I are going to do our Big Mariners Extravaganza podcast where we'll be predicting everything. We'll be predicting anything. What's the ceiling for each player, bets on all of those things for a big betting showdown for the season. Some of the fun ones are who will hit the most home runs on the team, who will be the team's most valuable player, just using F4 for the season, who will be the first player sent down, who will be the first player DFA'd, all the fun stuff that we'll be betting on. Join us for that. And we also have a fun interview coming up next week as well. So we're really excited for that.
Super pumped.
Yeah, big week. All right, as always, thank you for listening to the Seattle Sports Podcast. My name is Robbie Griffin, and with me each and every week is Gavin Ream. If you want to listen to more content, go to our YouTube page, Seattle Sports Podcast. Give us a subscribe on that. Give us some views. We are really trying to build that channel up. Gav, it's been an honor, man. I can't wait to talk more sports. Deuces.